Hello, you okay?
Morning, how are you doing?
Yes, not too bad, thank you. Yourself?
Good, good. Yeah, I know. I feel like I'll be doing this every morning, so it's
Yeah.
it's kind of turned into my routine, which is great. I feel like I'm hosting like a radio show or something.
Next career.
And next career, I know I've been like practicing. But yes, we're so excited to have you, Deborah. You are from BUUK
Yes.
Infrastructure. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, you're
cool.
right.
That's how I know it.
We've heard it all, but that is the way to say it.
BUK.
Yeah.
Okay. And why do you want to start off by explaining who you guys are? And then also maybe the link to creativity, because it might not be so obvious.
Yes, no, of course. So, in very simple terms, so we're a utility and engineering company, as you said, and we're one of the biggest independent. I think we are the biggest now, independent utility providers in the UK. And we like to say we're the biggest company that you've never heard of.
Good one.
And we're also a company where, if you're not aware about sort of who we are as a company, and you're sort of researching careers, it probably would go over your head because you'd read, independent utility provider and think, cool, cool, yep, that's good to know. But very basically, what we do is we put the pipes for utilities in the ground, but only the last mile. What that basically means is we work with developers who are building commercial properties or high-rise buildings or housing developments, and we liaise with those developers about putting the utility network in the ground to supply those houses.
Got it.
But it is only the only bit that we design, develop, own, and operate is the small bit that connects the house to the main grid.
Mm,
So, if you're with British Gas, they will be using our sort of pipework to get the gas to the house from the main network. So
yeah.
it is just that tiny little bit that
Crucial. Crucial.
yes, the crucial bit, but that is sort of under the development mainly
Yeah.
that we look after. And there's no way that I can make it sound really exciting, because at the end of the day, it is pipe work. But the exciting part about the engineering and utilities industry is it is very creative. It's not just with the design work, but from an innovative point of view. Um, Engineering in itself is about solving problems,
Mm,
and thinking about solutions. And that isn't just sort of the day to day, that is, long term plans, looking, towards net zero, and reacting to things that are going on in society and everything that could affect you further down the line. But it's we rely on creativity within the business. It's essential for being able to actually develop and grow and adapt sort of the business for the future.
mm. I mean, it's when you say, when you're explaining what you do, it's one of those areas that you just don't think of, day to day. You're like, who actually is, yeah, connecting
Mhm.
electricity and pipes and things like that. And it's such a crucial job and it's such a crucial area. But I think, like you said, most people just overlook it because they probably don't think where things come from.
Well, for the most part, you don't think about it until you live by yourself and you have
Yeah.
responsibility of the bills at the end of the
Yeah.
day. Until that point, that's not something you need to really think about.
Yeah.
But it's not just the sort of the designing aspect
Yeah.
of it, within say our head office. That's, we've got HR, we've got a marketing department, we've got a regulations department, we've got law. You've got everything that you need to try that makes up a business just within that engineering sector.
Yeah.
So there are a huge amount of career opportunities really, but with job titles that you might not necessarily think
Yes.
would be relevant for the
Yeah.
skills that you have.
So what are the different departments and roles typically?
So probably our biggest, so at our head office, where obviously a lot of it is, going to be office based as opposed to, going into the field, you've got everything from they're called engineering support officers,
Mhm.
but essentially it is more of an admin based entry level engineering role. And then you work your way up from there to being, assistant design engineers, all the way through to project management. You also have the teams that work more closely with construction, like the schedulers, who
Mm.
are I'd say are probably some of the most resilient people that I've ever met, because they are responsible for making sure that the plans are where they need to be in order for the people on site to be able to do the work.
Mhm.
Um, and then you've got all of the departments where you would probably know what would be involved, like our customer services department, like I said, HR, finance,
Mhm.
IT. IT, we've got big range of different areas, from the hardware where they're building the systems that we need, to software development, and then obviously the service desk as well.
Mhm.
The regulations department, I think, is probably something that an exciting area that people wouldn't necessarily know.
Mhm.
We offer degree apprenticeships in this area in business, because you wouldn't otherwise necessarily think about it as a route. But what they do is they um, essentially network and liaise with places like Parliament,
Mm.
and um, so they can get ahead with learning about any regulatory changes that could
Mm.
affect the utility industry further down the line. So things like house builders having to include
Yeah.
EV charging points, which is absolutely fine, but okay, where are they going to go? How is that going to work on this big development? But they liaise closely with those engineering bodies and Parliament to be able
Yeah.
to stay ahead of that, basically. And then we've got our marketing and communications department,
Mhm.
which are responsible for externally and internally growing different areas of our business.
So how many people do you employ? Sounds big.
About 2,500.
Okay. Yeah.
So we've doubled in about the last 5 to 8 years or
Wow.
so. And then we're a very stable company. I think our order book is about 7 years at the moment.
Right.
So, if we were to tools down today, we'd all keep working for another 7 years without having to worry about anything.
Nice
Which is
position.
it's a nice position to be in. It's a very stable position to be in, but I think that's the nature of utilities and engineering. People are
Yeah,
always going to need them.
need them. And you mentioned design engineering.
Mhm.
Could you explain what that is to someone who doesn't know what that is?
Essentially designing the network. So for me, we've got a nice Lego model in the office that explains this very well. But it is, for me, when I look at it, it is just loads of different colours on a graph, mainly using AutoCAD. But it's about taking the requirements of
Mm.
a customer
Mm.
and designing a solution that is going to fit the customer's needs. So let's say, we've got a developer wants all 7 utilities to go into this particular property. And it's okay, well, how are we going to make this work, taking into account the surrounding environment, and any restrictions there, the road layout, any other elements around the land rights, the design or the layout of the development, access, um, ground conditions, the
Yeah.
safety below the ground, along with if there's any existing pipework already there. And there's lots of different parts that you would then need to sort of consider.
Yeah.
Um, and I basically say it's just like a big ball of spaghetti. It's a big ball of color coded spaghetti that you need to flatten out in a way that it's going to work.
Mm. Like a game,
And
a puzzle.
essentially, it is a
Mm.
puzzle, and you have to be able to design something that is going to be essential for a customer,
Yeah.
in the most, in a cost effective manner, in a legal manner, complying to all, required regulations and codes and policies. And then, but do all of that on a time frame,
Mm.
essentially, because you're working
Right.
to a developer's time frame. So,
Yeah, it sounds no, it sounds very interesting actually. Like you said, it like maybe someone who does like games or
yeah,
likes puzzles, likes problem solving, maybe likes
yes,
those what is it, escape rooms,
yes.
time pressured.
Exactly. It's all sort of brainstorming, trial and error, and
Yeah.
um, it is creative. You've got to be able to have that perspective
Mm.
to think about something logically.
Mm.
And if you don't, if there's a way that you think, actually, no, this can be done better, engineering will allow you to do that.
Mm.
Engineering is about, performance improvement,
Yeah.
essentially. So it's looking at something going, oh, okay, well, you've done it like this, for this many years, but actually, if you did it like this, it's better.
Yeah.
And then it's that constant improving of a process and looking forward to the future as well. But that's like why we like getting engaged with young people, because they have a different mindset. And they've, for the most part, what we've found, the younger generation are growing up with technology, and are more likely to think outside the box.
Yeah.
And it's an industry that does need that.
Yeah.
We need people to come in and want to make that change, not just from a
Yeah.
business perspective, but looking forward from a sustainability and environmental perspective as well.
No, definitely. And talk to us about your early career opportunities at
Mhm.
BUUK.
So we do everything from sort of work experience. We love work experience, and we do that throughout the offices in the UK. So we've got offices in Woolpit in Suffolk, London, Cardiff, Scotland, Coventry, and Childerditch. They're sort of like the
Yeah.
main offices. So we can do work experience, and then we do apprenticeship schemes and graduate schemes
Mhm.
as well. So apprenticeships, we offer everything from level 3 to level 6. So level 3, you're going to be looking at sort of more the customer service,
Yeah.
um, and IT apprenticeships. Level 4, we've got sort of more of the engineering side of things. And then degree level, we have in regulations, IT, we've got some business management in there. And then you sort of we're currently developing one's degree apprenticeships in our water industry in Cardiff, and our heat side of the business, which will be in London, which will hopefully be later this year, or later this year, implemented next year
Mm.
for
When do they come out?
ideally by January.
Oh, okay.
By
All of them,
January,
like all of them come out at the same time. Okay.
yes, yeah, it's a very quick turnaround
Mm.
for our office to get sort of the apprenticeships out, but that would be for January. When they're advertised, would be a September 2026 start,
Okay. Yeah.
enrollment onto the courses, and then
Yeah.
our graduate scheme is every other year.
Got it. Okay. So lots of opportunities.
Yes.
And do you need a degree? Like, is there kind of anything you're particularly looking for?
Not really. If you wanted to sort of go in directly into an engineering position, as say as a graduate engineer, we would look for obviously an engineering degree.
Mm.
If you wanted to start specifically in engineering from at a level 4, we'd look for sort of engineering or maths and science up to a level
Hmm.
3. And then all of the other um, sort of apprenticeships that we do, it's just, you don't need to, anything sort of specifically. It'll just be based around what you're studying. So if you wanted to do an IT apprenticeship, we'd look for an interest, obviously, in computing or physics or something like that, a relevant subject,
Mm. Mm.
because we wouldn't obviously recommend it as
Yeah.
a starting point if you've never tried it before. But that's why we encourage work experience. So if you
Right.
don't know what area you might want to be in, we would
Yeah.
encourage anyone to sort of get in touch and say, I'm kind of thinking about engineering. I've got these skills. Is there anything in the business that might be suitable for me? And then we would look and
Mm.
work with that individual and say, well, are you in a position to come and do some work shadowing? Or, I think you might actually really like this area of the
Yeah.
business. And we try to sort of, myself and the rest of the recruitment team do try and help where we can and advise accordingly.
Yeah. No, that's yeah. No, that's great. It is. You got to try before you buy.
Yes. Yeah.
And what, so because you mentioned that it's obviously a stable, secure sector
Hmm.
company. Talk a bit about the culture at BUK and kind of who's the right type of person to be working there.
Hmm.
Is it someone who maybe needs structure, a clear progression route? Yeah, is there any links or,
Yeah.
or anything there?
So our culture is probably one of the things that we're the proudest of, really. And there's plenty of things when you sort of ask employees, what do you like? It is always the people.
Mm.
Um, we're quite unusual insofar as we've grown very quickly and we are a corporate company, but we've very much maintained a bit of that family feel. And the culture is something that's sort of that keeps the people working for us. We've got employees who have worked with us for 25 years. We've got directors who have joined us from graduate schemes. Um, and we don't look for um, anything in particular. We obviously would like people to be, committed to our mission, vision, and values. Um, our values are about being customer focused, being environmentally accountable, being safe and well, and being trusted. And I think for the most part, employees do support that, and that has created a very good culture. I think, for us, it is just about sort of treating, we're all working towards the same goal. And I think it's, for the most part, all the employees do treat each other with, respect and how you'd want to be treated. And we have a lot of different groups and collectives within the business to make sure that we are always striving to be the best that we can be,
Mm.
which I think is very important at this time.
Mm.
And what I find, I think, from my experience within the company is, skills can be taught. And I think we are very much, finding the right people. We do have a learning culture. And if you want to develop, it's a case of, you know, you can take control of that.
Yeah.
If you've got the right attitude that fits in with the company culture and you want to learn, you want to develop, you want to generate a career for yourself, you are able to have a say in that, and and the business will fully support that as well.
Mm. No, and that is what I think it's important for younger people to take that into consideration when thinking about employers and industries that they want to get into because
Mhm.
it will differ so much to like that individual.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the employees do have a lot of power within the business to make a change, even things like forming a sort of single-use plastics group. And it's a
mhm.
case of them presenting findings saying, well, this is how much plastic we're using in our staff restaurant.
Yeah.
We can improve that, we can make the changes. And or we order this material from this supplier, it comes wrapped in plastic. It doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
and the business support that
Oh,
and will
that's great.
say, right, well, we can make those changes and we
Mm.
can get rid of the single-use plastic. So it's very small changes, but the employees are
You've heard.
so important, yeah, for
Yeah.
driving that
Yeah.
change.
Well, Deborah, it's time up. It's 20 minutes already. I know it goes quickly. Do you have one piece of advice that you, I guess, wish younger people know, looking back, if someone's a bit stuck in knowing what they want to do, what would your one piece of advice be?
Um, I would say, um, play to your strengths. So get don't pigeonhole yourself and think, by just the job titles. You don't know what careers are going to be out there when you're sort of
Mhm.
actively looking. And I would say play to your strengths, um, work at what you enjoy.
Yeah,
And then when you're looking at different companies, find a company that you can fully get behind and fully support,
yeah,
because you don't want work to feel like work. You want to be able
yeah,
to go and enjoy it and make a change as well.
yeah. No, well, that's great piece of advice. Thank you so much, Deborah.
No problem
Um,
at all. Thank you so much for having me.
No, really, really enjoyed it. As everyone knows, we are recording these sessions, so they will be available on demand. And I'm sure Deborah will be happy if you connect on LinkedIn or
Yep, absolutely.
we will share the BUUK website as well. Thank you so much, Deborah. We'll let you go and hopefully see you very soon.
That's great. Thank you so much.